Hi, Matt Tinker. Well, it's about time I finished this, finished lapping this granite surface plate. I started working on it a bit over a year ago. I didn't know much about it when I started. I don't know a huge amount about it now, but there have been a few things that have enabled me to move forward. First of all, I've after the first initial lap, I took it with me to the Richard King scraping class that I followed just before Christmas a year ago, a little over a year ago, and with the help of Duncan and Graham, I was able to establish some coordinates on this. Duncan had brought his autocollimator and Graham had his mirror. So between the two of them, we were able to do a couple of lines of tests on this, which has left me with a situation in which I know where the straight, the level, the good surfaces are on this plate, which will allow me to work to go on from there. The other thing that I've discovered in between, that I've understood in between times, is exactly how the deformation that can take place in a plate like this works. It's a difference in temperature between the top and the bottom surfaces. Will, if it's hotter, if it's warmer on the top, it will go convex. If it's colder on the top, it'll go concave. It's more consistent during the winter, which is one of the reasons why I've been holding off doing it. It now, at the moment, it's been covered up with an old quilt since about last November, which is nearly 6 months. And I hope that the mass has stabilized in temperature. The temperature is now starting to rise, but this is a pretty consistent time of year for the temperature in my workshop. So I want to get on and lap it and finish lapping it now before the summer comes and before there are too many variations in temperature. So well, yeah. So the next phase is going to be looking at okay. Now I have the drawing that Duncan made. You could probably not be able to see it, but the thing that's important is that we're able to plot out areas that had that were consistent, flat and level. From that, I've been able to set to adjust my repeatometer so that it's set at 0 at this point on a straight line that that Duncan was able to show me. From here, I have used my repeatometer to trace out this area here, this inside the green line, which is flat as far as I can see. This means that I will principally start grinding everything that's inside, lapping everything that's inside this area first. This will be the first to go down. These are 2 microns lower, and these areas are higher. So this and that will be part of the first things that I'm going to lap in. Now, in order to lap, I'm going to use the cast iron plate that that I prepared in the previous video, which I've already started to there's my lap. Now I didn't put any I didn't cut any grooves in it, as one usually does for lapping, because that I want to be able to, if possible, reuse this lap later. Now, okay, reuse the lap, recut if I might be able to cut off strips of this lap to use it as a to make some straight edges, to make some cast iron. Now, I've already started putting diamond flour on this. I'm spreading it out with a brush and rolling it to embed the diamond into the surface of the lap. Now this roller is made up of roller bearings. They're actually skate bearings, which are very cheap. The roller needs to be hard to be able to crush the diamonds into the surface of the lap. Now, the last video I did, there were some people that reproached me for not showing any lapping. I just thought the lapping would be boring and why bother? Okay, so I am going to include lapping in this video. So, and sticking as it comes off. I've never done this before, ever. I've done this once before, I'm sorry, on this particular plate. It's the only time I've ever lapped anything like this. So this is the only plate I've ever lapped. I didn't want to go too far last time, but I realised that what I'm doing seems to me to be perfectly okay. It seems to be working. I find myself in a situation in which I can see from the way the lines I've drawn on it are worn away in the centre section, and the outer edges where it actually slopes away, because that's where the wear was, the lines are still visible. Not so much here. This was a pretty good point. It's interesting, the colour of the granite has changed. It's now paler. Before, it was possible to see where it was worn, but by how dirty it was. I shall Still cutting. I'm trying to maintain an even pressure. An even pressure so that I'm not going deeper in some areas than others. It's difficult to know quite what to do, but that really cut a lot that time. It's grabbing again. I need to, and it sticks too, which is a very good sign. It's sticking to the plate, which means it's very flush. The lap is now pretty well loaded, I think. The lines to the left here, and there's a little bit here, from the original marker lines, give me an idea about. I just think I ought to carry on for a while before, mind you, I could go over it now, just see, have a rough idea about how it looks. It's getting cleaner. So, we're getting somewhere like it now. It's a bit high in this corner, I'm surprised at that. But very, very much better than it was before. I'm really pleased with this. I'm getting practically no movement. That corner over there was the most worn before. Very pleased because this is going faster than I thought. I need to do something. Yeah, I took a bit of dirt on the surface. Very good. I'm pleased with that. It's now within a couple of microns over the whole surface, whereas before it used to be 5-7 microns. So I just carry on as I am. zero it. So we've got a slight high spot. Doesn't show that way. No, it's just dirt. Practically nothing. I could it's too dry like that. Now I've got to a point where I'm at less than a micron everywhere, or at least as far as I can see. Probably filming it is going to make it look different, but I've got to a point where I think it's basically roughed in and just needs going over again with a finer grade of diamond flour. The one I used initially was 45 to 55 microns, and I've got some 10 to 20 micron that I thought would be worth trying as a finishing grind. I must say that I've never done this before. Impressions are that it's very much easier than people think. I would say do it, and I also understand why some professional surface plate lappers don't want people to show this sort of thing on video, because it really is from what I can see, it's very easy to do. And the only problem is certification. I don't need certification. I'm quite happy with it as it is. So I'm going to get on with another grind with 10 to 20 microns. Okay, same procedure as before. Except with the finer flour. It looks finer. It's this will be interesting to see what it does. The surface finish that I've already got doesn't look bad to me, and it's difficult to. I looked to see whether I could see anything on camera, but I can't really tell. And I'm not going to do an area and then compare it, because I just want to get on with it and have it evenly done everywhere. So I'll just give it a try. It's cutting more than I expected it to, which is fine. I'm trying to push and pull rather than push down, so that it's the weight of the lat that's working rather than pushing. I can see there are some areas where it's working more than others, and it's doing far more than I imagined. It's interesting. I don't think we're going to have to do very many passes like this. Okay, this is the area which was originally, which is my zeroing spot from when we checked the surface with the autocalibrator. So this area, there's no movement at all, and I'm very pleased because I'm getting, let's zoom in a bit closer. I've got to a state where there is no movement. This is a micron, a 1 micron dial gauge, and it's not moving. I can't see it having done anything, and even going right to the very edge, moving around. It has moved a micron in that particular area. Okay, so still zero over there. Whoops, let's get it back a bit. And there it is, a micron. Nothing over there. I'm just underneath the zero now, and that was the angle, rather than it was the angle that it was in relationship with the camera. And so I really don't think there's anything more for me to do to this. This is more than good enough for my needs. Oops, that was me pulling on it slightly. So, I think, safely call that finished and move on to something else. It's also the end of this video, which I've been meaning to get out for a very long time. So, that's it.